Hello, my loves. So today we're going to dive into the root chakra messages for sacred union. And it's really kind of centering on feeling safe, stable, and secure within yourself, but also within your connection. And this series came about as a result of my higher guidance over a few months time of just really feeling like things were pretty much in a void space. I know many of the sacred feminines have been feeling in that void, feeling bored, feeling uncertain of what to do. And as I was patiently awaiting my guidance, this sacred union stabilization energy is actually what came forward for me to focus on and share here with you. So, before I go into the messages, I wanted to start out by letting you know that I actually did record and post the first session for the root chakra yesterday evening. It's the first video that I've actually specifically directly uploaded to my website. And shortly after I posted it, the whole page of the course went down in the sense that no one could actually register for it. So if you went to register and you kept getting an error message, it is now fixed. I thought for sure that it was something that I did because this is my first time doing this directly on my website in this fashion. So I sent them a message, and come to find out, it actually was across the board on all of their sites, and their engineer team had to work to fix it. It's interesting because one of the first thoughts I had was that Squarespace had to sort of recalibrate to this sacred union energy, right? YouTube is used to the energy that we work with. And a few hours later, it was up and running and everything was fine. So, just in case any of you did go on, it's all good and in working order now, as far as I can tell. If there's any issues, you can email me at Danielle@harmonioushearts.life and we'll get it taken care of. Either way, that's posted, but it's just sort of a testament to how incredibly powerful the energies are and the times that we are in. I'm going to start out by sharing with you a vision that came in to begin that session because it feels connected to the messages I'm going to bring through today. And it was a vision of the feminines stabilized in her energy and really surrendered and looking to source for her guidance. This connects with the message that we received the other day here on YouTube and how it came through that there was sort of like this frozen part in between the feminine and masculine in the collectives. And as it started to come forward for the session, I was shown that this is in the heart space and also like the shared space, most specifically the shared space, which is what the session ended up going into. And it was showing that as you've been embodying into your own internal union and embodying into your chakras all the way for yourself, your inner masculine and feminine, but within the overarching sacred union container of your connection with your sacred union partnership, this was where the feminines were still holding in the higher chakras and the masculines holding in the lower chakras. But what this process is evolving to be, my understanding is growing deeper and deeper with each session that I do for this series, is that this is now in the shared space. The feminines are now dropping all the way into the roots and stabilizing into the roots in the shared space. This is not about doing anything for the masculine. It's just simply about the feminine establishing herself in not only in her own container, but also signaling as she is guided from source. Of course, I'm guided to share these messages with you. But of course, it's up to you to discern if this feels aligned and appropriate for you. If it feels like now is the time, if you've already been experiencing this and this is confirmation, or maybe you're aware that this is coming, but it's not quite time yet. Either way, it's all perfect, right? This is just what I'm being guided to do. And it's been actually pretty surprising to me because we have been so focused on the inner union, but it would make sense that there's going to come a point where we're ready to open up in new and deeper ways as a collective. Now, part of what's been coming through in my sessions with many feminines who are not in a physical world connection with their masculine, they've just been wanting to focus on community and friendships and other connections to enhance and complement their lives, right? Because they're so not attached to the masculine and what he's sorting through or going through in his life, and just giving him the space and the grace to walk through it. So this is coming through, I believe, because the feminines are holding that tempered space, and source is saying, okay, all right, the feminines can handle this. They can stabilize, they can hold within themselves, focus on themselves, and still anchor and stabilize into the sacred union energies, right? And how I'm seeing it is it's like the inner union and then the container of sacred union and then the unity consciousness communities. Now, for those of you who have been like working on your inner union and working on your communities, this is that middle space, right? It's that deepening into the essence and energy of who you are in that sacred union partnership, loving energy, right? But then also, it's how that sacred union energy supports the communities. So there's a lot coming in around all of this because it's one thing for us to intellectually and spiritually understand these concepts of embodying inner union and sacred union and unity consciousness, but actually embodying it and living it in our day-to-day life while living on this planet that's still clearly going through a massive transformation and its own levels of shadow work is quite the mission, right? That's big, big work that we're doing, that we are in the process of. So what I'm here for is to simply support that process for those of you that resonate with that. For those of you in sacred union connections that feel that part of your purpose is to anchor and stabilize unity consciousness and sacred union energies and sacred union partnerships on our planet, right? So, with all of that said, the session opened up for any of you that want to participate in this series. I'll put all of the information in the pinned comment. But one of the parts that really stood out is that as we dropped into the roots and it opened up into the shared space, mind you, I channel these. Sometimes I know some of what's coming in, but many times because it is channeled from source, these open in ways that are even surprising or unknown to me. And it opened up into a shared space, root chakra, which also opened up into the earth star chakras, which I would say was one of the most powerful, potent parts of it, was where there was a recalibration of the earth stars, which I've been shown, and many of you may know, that's sort of our own personal compass point, our own anchor point on earth. And what I was shown, what we were seeing within the session was where the earth star chakras were being realigned to point in the compass direction that they were meant to be. Now, we were holding this, we were not directing it, we were not forcing it. It was not up to us to do anything specific but be present aligned with source, aligned with our higher self, aligned with divine order, and allowing the energy and essence to unravel in any of the things that were not aligned and realigning and reestablishing with the truth in that true higher timeline, the true highest potential, and just giving it space and grace to do so. So, again, very powerful, very beautiful. And I just wanted to let you know that through that process, if you choose to participate in it, you're just going to want to give yourself space to work with the recordings, work with the energies, and um, yeah, you can listen to it as many times as you want and work with it as many times as you want. Okay. So, wow. With that said, lots of shifting coming through. It's really making sense that, how can I put it? The feminines, because they were not focused on the masculine source, it's like, okay, she's ready, right? And this is the precipice point. It's still maintaining your temperance. It's still discerning what you choose to participate in. It's still holding your standards. It's bringing the results of who you are now into the roots, not only for yourself, but for the shared space, right? You're establishing a deeper space, a broader space for yourself. And now it's sort of coming like how those messages have been showing up that the masculines are sort of running out of space. I spoke about that on my Patreon and YouTube memberships. And they've been needing direction. And so, as the feminines are getting the green light to move to their next container and their next levels, and for those of you that feel guided to stabilize into the sacred union templates, this is also supporting that new space for the masculines as well. It's sort of like their green light from source and from the feminine in return. And how I see it as I say that, this is not just one green light, like it's all of those pieces, source, the feminine, and the masculine, all providing signals, and Mother Earth as well, right? That about what is ready, what is aligned, what each piece and component is ready to actually sustain and maintain. So it is this dance. It's a dance in the energies. It's a dance coming down into the physical. And for those of you that are in a physical world connection, again, you may see that you are still experiencing levels of this for yourself because you and your connection is still in a constant form of growth, right? That's what we're here for. We're here to establish this embodiment process. So let's see. I'm going to pull from the Priestess of Light, one for the feminine, and I'm going to pull one from the Shaman Dream, one for the masculine, and then I'm going to pull some tarot for that shared space, the shared space messages. And we're looking at the root chakra and the shared space root chakra. So for the feminine, we have healing earth, giving and receiving healing. So, wow, right? Just what I was talking about, like you're going into your own energies, and now this is sort of expanding and extending the work that you have been doing for yourself. And now you're growing your container to share out those energies and codes, of course, in an aligned, appropriate way in your standards for the collective, for the earth, and for your connection with this entire ascension embodiment process. But you see, it's like going into the earth. This root chakra, earth star chakra portion that we're working on right now is one of the most important pieces. This is the stabilization point. This is the anchor point. This is the embodiment point. So any other work that we're doing or embodying after this is going to come down into the roots. So establishing yourself in this energy, establishing your sacred union container is that next container of you. It's so you have your inner union container, and now you're establishing your sacred union container. All right, now what do we have for the sacred masculine collective? Deep diver diving into a task. Wow. Okay, so this is where immediately it's coming to me like as the feminine is shining the light into the roots and letting her essence come in, it's allowing the masculines to see deeper into the roots. And what I'm sensing is this is where the masculines have sort of been bogged down or entrapped. And in a way, they've just been doing what they know how to do. And this green light from source that's allowing the feminines to restabilize back to the sacred union container is then igniting that opening for the masculines to start to be able to see in the dark as it's thawing, as the ice is thawing. He can remember those parts of himself. Now, remind you again, this is happening because of divine guidance. This is happening because it's aligned and it's aligning, and because both the feminine and masculine are ready for themselves and for this next steps and stages. In source again is the one that is in control. This is not something that you're going out and searching for or demanding. This is the energy where you've been in your own lane, your own sovereignty, working within your container, and you've both reached this precipice point where the only way to grow is together. Okay, that's what's coming through. And so, whether it's with the person who initiated you on your initial journey of sacred love, or if it's someone new, or however it plays out for you, I allow you to discern what's correct for you. What I do feel comfortable acknowledging is that the masculine and feminine collectives are very much ready to grow. And it is the shared space that will support them in growing to their next levels, whether this is in the energies or actually coming into the physical world and harmonized in ways where they can work together, which is ultimately what I feel is coming forward, which is why the sessions and these messages are coming forward to support that process, right? In that stabilization. So the masculines, where you may have felt or saw the masculines as frozen off, well, as source is allowing that space between you to thaw for both of you, right? Because this is thawing the feminines as well. It is allowing these ice caps to thaw and for the true energy to come back online, right? Okay. Wow. It's like that light is like igniting that, right? Two different decks, but sort of shining it, warming it up, allowing it to come back online. Now, mind you, even the messages I'm saying, I'm speaking about feminine and masculine, but most likely, regardless of how you identify, you're going to be feeling or experiencing some levels of both sides of this because of your inner union energies, but also because you are a part of that sacred union container, right? It's not about doing someone else's part, it's about doing yours. And this is a deeper opportunity. If those energies are thawing and coming back online, this is a way for you to clear out the past of what was that's no longer you, for you to embody into who you are now and allow it to recalibrate and reharmonize to that physical portion of where you are now. Really, it's just reestablishing the truth of what was always there in the pure, true energy, right? But you've been working in the shadows to get to this place where you could actually hold that and allow the fears and the worries and the unsafety and the toxic energies to unravel, right? So now, as we're going into the energies again of the safe, stable, and secure, right? Okay. I was guided to get three. Okay. Wow. So, how I have it on the table is like the feminine and masculine, and then within it is the three cards, right? The shared space. The first card out is the Nine of Swords. In this, thinking about safe, stable, and secure, it feels important that you both have the safe, stable space to process whatever it is that you need to process, whether it's from the past grieving or the past discomfort opening up and sort of finally being able to thaw it out and dissipated so the truth can come back in and come back online, but just not running away from whatever comes up, even if it's from the past, but allowing yourself to hold a tempered space in a safe space for yourself and the counterpart container, the sacred union container, so those energies can actually process. Okay. So if something similar or a feeling physically, emotionally, or spiritually, or a pattern comes up from the past during this process, your job is to not run or wall or freeze, right? And obviously, unless you're in danger, seriously. But if it's just coming up in your space, this is your opportunity again to bring the results of who you are and allow the energies to dissolve and resolve with the results of who you are now. Essentially, if things are opening up, especially because the root chakra, again, can be a very intense chakra, right? This is where the collective, ancestral, and personal traumas were stored, right? So this is where we are processing those out. Also, in the physical, for those of you who have been in a physical, intimate relationship with your counterpart, the root chakra is where you literally plug into one another in the sexual energies, right? So Helios, and even in the Helios Gamos, when you come into the soul merge, it begins at the root. Okay. So this is cleaning up that original energetic exchange and bringing in the results of who you are now. I'm guessing in most cases, many of you have done tremendous amounts of shadow work. So you're not the same version of who you were back at the beginning of that soul merge. And so when those energies come up, you might feel those similar moments. But again, this is the opportunity. You've got this. You know how to stabilize now. You provide for yourself. You got your own back. And of course, if you need support, get yourself that support, whether it's through the recordings or through sessions, one on one, whatever it is that supports you. This is just about you being able again to stabilize in feeling safe, stable, and secure. Okay. But letting yourself go through that process to allow the light to shine into the roots, your own light and the divine light. This is triggering this point in the shared space. Again, to me, this feels like that alignment into that true alignment. This is the card that actually came out in representing the masculine in my most recent member video. And it is again about sort of sifting and sorting through all of those options and all of those things that were present. And this is that alignment in that compass point, right? It's like, oh, okay, it seems a little confusing at first, but as the clouds clear, right, that pathway presents itself and it's bringing me directly to this water energy, right? That fluid flowing, feminine, intuitive energy, the emotional energy. And so it's like the remembrance, the thawing of that, the clarity around that is going to support that reharmonization process. And again, just allowing this to unfold. So, All you have to do is again continue to surrender, but also allow yourself again to establish into the roots, not just for yourself, but into that container that includes a space for your sacred partnership. Okay. And this is allowing for the maturing process for both parties, for both the masculine and feminine. It's allowing, for me, each of these cups right now is sort of representing the aspects from, the inner child to the mature adult and bringing all of those pieces back together. It's coming to me that this is coming up in this way because many, when you went into the soul merge and into the roots together, a lot of what came up was inner child wounding, right? Especially many of you probably mirrored similar topics to one another from childhood traumas or teen or young adult relationship experiences, things with your community, your society, your schooling, your neighborhood, your ancestral lines. And this, what's coming through is actually this process of stabilizing into the sacred union roots will actually allow for the space for your true soul essences to recalibrate the true soul blueprint, right? The mission and the reason why this is all occurring in the first place. And then allowing that to reharmonize with the life experience of who you are now, what experiences brought you to this point, each as individuals, and the individual wisdom that you each bring to the table, because your unique experiences are very valuable. They happened for a reason. You were put in a divine timeout in the physical for a reason. And this process has allowed both of you the opportunity to understand your individual selves in new and deeper ways. And so, as you're energetically or establishing into the shared space in a new and deeper way into the roots, this is bringing a tremendous amount of wisdom to be available on the other side of clearing that trauma. Okay. So stick with the process, allow it to clear out, allow yourself to stabilize, and allow the wisdom that you both have won to come to fruition. This is that space to allow the wisdom of the soul to merge and marry with the wisdom of the human experience, right? That is an intense embodiment as a sovereign individual, but you have built enough muscle to be here listening to this message that is supporting the sacred union container. Okay. So be patient, be gentle, give yourself space and grace, give your counterpart space and grace to go through this process. All right, my loves, I'm going to leave it to each of you again to discern what is aligned for you. And I'm going to bring one final message in to support this entire process, just a message of support. And it's coming through from the spirit animal deck. And I feel like this is because the earth and the animals and the trees and the plants, the wilderness, the earth are wanting to support. They are supporting these sacred union containers. That's another part that came into the session yesterday. Rhino, spirit, overcome any obstacle. Wow. I do not think I've ever received this card, and I'm absolutely loving it. The strength of the counterparts, the strength of those of you here with me, your capacity to stabilize for yourself, and your courageous bravery to open up and go into these next steps, into the roots, into the earth star chakra, into stabilizing the sacred union energies is a testament to your capacity to overcome any obstacles. Bringing your heart space, bringing yourself centered back to the truth of the unconditional love and unity consciousness. Just tempering, right? Back to that space of why you are here at the bigger reason, the bigger mission, right? Yes, it's for yourself. Yes, of course, you want to be all of who you are, step into your potential. Of course, you want to and absolutely deserve a sacred union partnership. But at that soul level, you came here as a bigger part of this ascension planetary energy, and you hold a very important piece of the puzzle for the overarching collective energies. But again, the beautiful part, all you have to do is be you, my love. Be you, embody into who you are, stabilize into who you are, support that safety, stability, and security within yourself. And as you're ready, you expand that into your sacred union container. And remember that as you trust and align to your highest source and connect into Mother Earth, and you continue to surrender and stabilize into the truth and take actions as they feel aligned in the truth, you can overcome any obstacle. And we are, my loves. I believe that deeply. It's why I can continue to show up the way that I do as guided and will continue to do so as long as I'm guided. All right, my loves, I'm going to leave it there. I hope that you found this supportive and enjoyable. I'm going to drop all that information for that series in the pinned comment. And again, I would love to hear from you if you have any questions, if you have any thoughts, if you want to share anything about your root chakra sacred union journey, feel free to do so. You will see me soon, and I will be still coming on with other messages and other videos as guided, but I will be on next week with the sacral chakra for sacred union. All right, my loves, you take care. Much love. Bye.